So this month, Kingdom Hearts 3, the latest Kingdom Hearts game, comes out after what, a 10-year wait. And we thought we'd catch up on the story in a whisky session, but because it's January, or dry January, we're having a wee coffee session instead. I've been invited Kingdom Hearts fanatic and all-round expert to tell us what the hell the story's all about. Andy.
And also our friend.
Aye.
Oh.
Andy, thanks for coming along.
You're very welcome.
Kingdom Hearts then.
So I wouldn't say I'm an expert or a fanatic, but I do love it, and I have spent many of my sexless years playing it.
Also, my name is not Andy.
Well, how many have you played?
I've played no Kingdom Hearts. I played up to the point where you're meant to meet Donald and... I always want to say Daffy Duck. No, I've said the name of the duck.
It's Goofy.
Aye, and you're like, you go in, you're in a sand castle, and you're going from room to room, and every so often they pop up and say,
One, you played the wrong game. Two, you made really great use of the birthday present I got you for your 25th.
Right, okay, right.
Okay, well I've played and finished Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2,
Right.
and I've played half of Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Dimension, or whatever it's called.
Dream Drop Distance.
Dream Drop Distance.
Even I know the name of that one.
And I've finished
Dream Drop
0.2,
Dimension.
a fragmentary passage.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So I've played more than you. I've played about half of the Kingdom Hearts.
What I'm going to do throughout this, I'm going to take notes about what Andy's saying, and at the end I'm going to present back
Right, okay.
the definitive Kingdom Hearts canon within, should we say a minute?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, that's right. Okay, so start us off, what happens?
Okay, so it starts with... there's basically one world,
Right.
and there's this thing called, I think it's called the X-Blade,
Right.
and it is the perfect balance between light and darkness.
Right, okay.
Right. So what usually happens when there's one thing that controls everything in the universe, people start fighting over it.
Right, okay.
And there's this big bloody war, and loads of people die, and then the sword is destroyed, breaking into all these fragments. The light side breaks into what eventually become the Princesses of Heart,
Right.
I think. So that's like
Is that the Disney Princesses?
That's the Disney Princesses
Right,
plus
okay.
Kyrie, who we'll come to later.
Actually,
Yeah.
So Disney princesses are part. Right, okay, right. I'm good at.
Basic.
Showing a chart already.
I mean,
I just misspelled Disney. The Dinsey princesses.
much further down the line to sort of the Kingdom Hearts universe as we know it. So all these different worlds from like the Disney universes, and this guy who's a bit of a dickhead called Xehanort.
Right, I'm just going to write it the way I think.
Xehanort.
Right, I'm writing it.
Xehanort.
Right, okay, right. Xehanort. Right.
And he thinks there's too much light in the world. Since the X-Blade was destroyed, there's this imbalance. So he seeks out to balance everything.
So it's a bit like when you've got the big light on and your mum comes in.
Yeah, Black
Right, okay.
Illuminations.
Yeah. Right, okay, right.
But I mean, he starts off kind of noble. He just wants to balance the scales a little bit, make it a little bit better. So he's like, I'm going to recreate the X-Blade. But with all these people who set out to rebalance things, he goes like mental crazy.
Of course.
So to create a new X-Blade, it's when a heart of pure light and a heart of pure darkness clash.
Right.
So he sets out to make beings of pure light and pure darkness. So he basically cuts his assistant in two in a freaky lab experiment, which makes this guy called Ventus and another guy called Venitus. Now Ventus is like, he looks like Roxas, who we'll come to later. And Venitus looks like evil Sora. Like if Sora hung out at Central Station on a Saturday night.
Wait there, so Ventus looks like Sora?
No, Ventus looks like Roxas.
Roxas.
And Venitas.
Venitas.
Yeah.
Venitas.
Yeah.
Looks
Or
like...
Vanitas or something.
Looks like
some
Sora.
dude.
Sora.
Looks like evil Sora.
Right.
like-
Do Roxas and Sora look alike?
No.
Okay, right.
Well, it gets more complicated as we go.
Okay, right.
So,
Right, okay.
oh god, where was I? So
Venitus and
Venitus and
Venti.
Ventus is split into...
Yeah. And so Ventus, I can't remember how, but his heart's kind of like slightly cleaved in two. So Xehanort takes him to Destiny Islands, which will come up later,
Okay.
where his heart is mildly repaired by Sora's heart, probably, I think. And anyway, and then he goes off and becomes a Keyblade wielder. Because
Right,
everybody's
okay.
a Keyblade wielder.
Right,
I forgot to say, everybody's like a Keyblade wielder.
Right, here we go.
This is what I was going to ask actually, right?
Alright.
How many? There's quite a lot of Keyblades, right? But
Yeah.
is there a set number of them, or is it just like limitless?
I think it's limitless.
Right, if you've got a big key, then you can just call that Keyblade.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Are there good Keyblades and bad Keyblades?
There's Keyblades that do
Are they-
bad
are-
things. It's all about the wielder.
Right, okay.
Because like you'll find there's a Keyblade later we'll come into that's a bit of a dick move Keyblade, but it gets used for good. So Ventus, as you remember, who is like he's the being of pure light.
Yeah.
So Ventus, pure light.
He ends up he's a Keyblade wielder,
Yes.
and he meets these guys called Terra and Aqua.
Yeah.
Aqua's cool, she's got blue hair. Terra's a bit of a big emo dork who looks like Zack from Final Fantasy, but he isn't Zack from Final Fantasy, because Zack from Final Fantasy is actually in that game.
What colour's Aqua's hair?
They decide to, well, as Keyblade wielders, they've got to do this test called the Mark of Mastery. And for evil reasons, Xehanort decides, is it Xehanort? It is Xehanort. Decides to make Terra fail his Mark of Mastery exam. He like does some evil things for evil reasons. So that he makes, he says that he's too dark. Like he's got too much darkness in him. And so he then takes Terra off in some evil mission, warping his being or whatever. Eventually it comes to some big final battle where Xehanort fuses with Terra, probably, I think, maybe.
He gets white hair, doesn't
Yeah.
He gets white hair.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right.
But he gets defeated, and Terra plunges into some place called the Realm of Darkness, and he gets defeated because Aqua sacrifices herself and also ends up in the Realm of Darkness.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a whole thing I forgot before we got there. I think through the various falling through the different worlds, Terra goes to Destiny Island where he meets a future person called Riku, but Riku's a wee boy. And basically, how Keyblade wielders are chosen is you've got to hold someone else's Keyblade, and if it likes you, that's pretty much it.
So I touched Joe's Keyblade, and it's like, yep, good guy. Does it somehow create another Keyblade? Say I'm holding one Keyblade, then suddenly I'm holding one here as well, or
not quite. You basically become the Keyblade successor.
So I would just get Joe's Keyblade
Eventually. Joe would have to die or end up in the Realm of Darkness.
Happens a lot.
Or something.
Can Keyblades not go into the Realm of Darkness?
No, there are Keyblades in the Realm of Darkness.
But so would it be like, so I'd hold Joe's Keyblade, and then if Joe went down to the Keyblade shop and got an upgrade, say he had a Keyblade 4 and then wanted a Keyblade 5, I could get the 4.
Yes. No, but yes. I also forgot to mention something because Ventus gets destroyed in that fight, and so Aqua takes him to a place called Radiant Garden,
which is where all the Final Fantasy characters
which is where all the Final Fantasy characters live.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Radiant Garden.
And makes his hollowed out soul heart into a castle. For some reason.
I didn't get to that part.
Right, okay, so
this is when I've not finished spotting.
So Ventus is a castle.
Ventus becomes a castle where you hang out occasionally later in the games.
Do folk know that Ventus is a person?
Or earlier in the games. No.
Does anyone ever be like, this is weird, isn't it? Is it like, does it get like fleshy walls?
No,
and stuff?
it's like a proper castle.
No one's like, why is this castle
Am I getting this mixed up? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll find out as I tell the story more as we go on,
so
if I've gotten it mixed up.
What do they call the castle?
A castle...
Castle of Illusion? No, that's Mickey Mouse.
Well, there's Castle Oblivion, but I can't remember if that's...
Castle Ventus.
Castle Ventus. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's continue. Oh yeah, and so I was talking about Riku becoming a Keyblade successor.
Yeah.
But Kairi, someone we'll meet later again, also becomes this Keyblade successor. She lives in Radiant Garden. She doesn't get the Keyblade handed to her. She just grabs it because she's a bit of a grabby kid. And Sora, who we'll meet later again, he just gets it because his heart is close to Ventus's.
Aye.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's something like that.
Yeah.
And so that brings us up to Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah. Oh, right, good.
Kingdom Hearts 1, which has the simplest story out of all of them, despite it all. And it basically starts with 3 kids on an island, and they're all best friends, had normal childhoods, and their names are Kairi, the girl, Riku, the boy, and Sora, the other boy, who I think is bisexual. Okay. Well, because I think he fancies both of them.
Ah, well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This is like the start of the actual story.
It starts with him in this weird dream.
Right.
And he, descends onto these big platforms with mosaics of various Disney princesses on them. Which is where I was like, wow, this is the best game ever. It is fulfilling all my gay needs.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he gets to choose some swords and he fights some Heartless, and we'll come into what the Heartless are in a minute.
Right. Because they've not been in it yet, have they? In the story? Not
really, but actually, yes, so Xehanort... Is it Xehanort? Splits. Does he? Yes, Xehanort splits up.
Right.
After Xehanort's defeated, he splits. And his essence basically becomes Heartless and Nobody's. But they also split into a Heartless and a Nobody called Ansem and Xemnas. Xemnas takes a bunch of other Nobodies and creates this thing called Organization 13.
So nobody's at Organisation 13?
Yes.
But Ansem looks like Terra.
Yes.
Doesn't he?
Yes, he
Ansem,
does.
because
If Terra had like a Sephiroth upgrade.
But Zehanot's done something to... I think, is it not like...
Don't blame him.
Right, no, wait.
It's his fault.
wait, no, I think I know, right. Because you're saying that Zehanot leads Terra down the bad path.
Yes.
Is that not so that he can become a vessel for... And so he becomes Ansem
Yes.
with hair white and all that?
Yeah.
Or Terra and Ansem are connected somehow.
Yeah.
I'm just like looking out into the beautiful climate.
Anyway, we're going back to this place, Destiny Island, where Riku, Kairi, and Sora are hanging out, and they're just chilling out, playing, and they decide, oh, wouldn't it be great to go off and explore other worlds?
Right.
And boy, howdy, does the universe answer.
Right.
Because that day, Ansem turns up on their island and opens the door on their island, which unlocks that world, which makes sense somehow.
Right.
And their world is sucked up into this, like, black hellscape.
Yeah.
So while that happens, Kairi loses her heart, but it latches onto Sora, so that's fine.
Okay, right, that's fine.
And Riku and Sora are both fine, but they get...
So she become a Heartless then?
No, because she's a princess of heart, and her heart can't be overcome by the darkness.
So what is she when her heart's gone then?
She's just like a soulless husk.
Yeah.
She just
Alright,
occasionally
so-
like...
But not a nobody.
But not a nobody.
Right, okay. Soulless.
Right, okay.
Anyway, so
He's laughing as if I'm asking the stupid questions.
their island is completely consumed by this
Right, okay,
darkness, and they're sucked up into various worlds. And Sora wakes up in the back of an alley because someone is licking his face.
It's Goofy.
And it's
it's
it's the other dog.
Pluto.
It's Pluto. The dog is a dog.
I keep on getting Pluto and Goofy.
It's Goofy, the court wizard.
Goofy's not the court wizard, he's the
Whatever.
knight.
Imagine you passed out and you woke up because a knight of the realm was licking your face.
And anyway, so Pluto takes him.
Thank you, Sir Lancelot, for waking me.
Pluto takes him through this place called Traverse Town, where he meets various Final Fantasy characters.
Is that the sandcastle place?
No, I really think you played the wrong game.
Yeah.
I think
No,
you played. I
definitely.
think you played Chain of Memories.
Yeah, I think you did as
It's
well. 'cause-
definitely-
Yeah, you definitely.
But it is in the start of Chain of Memories. But I think you played the wrong
no,
one.
Yeah, there's no castle at the beginning.
I played the one that starts with a race around the island.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, that's Kingdom Hearts 1.
Right there. So if
Okay.
that's the only one that I've played by itself.
Did you not even get off the island?
No, I did because then like, I saw Donald and Goofy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
right,
Okay, anyway, so he
Right.
takes him to meet Donald and Goofy, and he decides, with my new magic Keyblade, oh, I didn't mention that, Sora gets a Keyblade at this point.
Yeah.
And with his new magic Keyblade, he's going to go off on an adventure with Donald and Goofy, because Donald and Goofy can't find their king, Mickey, who's given up his regal responsibilities to go find out what's going on with all these worlds which are separated.
I bet he's still being funded by the taxpayer.
Well, yeah, almost definitely. And so... They take Sora as the wielder of this Keyblade to restore all the connections between the worlds, or to
Right.
lock all the connections between the worlds, but how to travel between worlds. So they take him to meet Chip and Dale, as you remember as famous chipmunks. They have given up a lucrative career in rescue ranging to become interdimensional spaceship engineers.
Of course, it's the next step.
And so they build you this ship called a gummy ship, which is capable of like flying between all these different worlds.
It's made of gummy bears. Or gummy parts. isn't it?
Gummy blocks, which you find by defeating Heartless and opening treasure chests in various places.
I think we're getting lost in details.
Yeah. Anyway,
Broad
so
strokes.
they jump in this gummy ship and they go around all these different worlds, like
Okay.
Hercules world and or / ancient Greece, I guess, and like
Tarzan
Tarzan
world,
world, yeah, like loads of different Disney worlds.
All the ones, all the Disney films from before, like the early noughties.
Yeah.
That's the only ones that get the rights to.
That's pretty much it. And the Little Mermaid world, which was fun because you got like a fishtail for a
yeah,
while.
you swim, right.
Yeah. And to cut a long story short, you find out that these princesses of heart are disappearing.
Right.
Like the princess is gone, and it's all the best Disney villains.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So just as like Sora decides he's now best friends with Donald and Goofy. Riku just happens to be there, like his former best friend, is standing there watching, while Maleficent, the coolest baddie in the Disney canon, because she didn't get invited to a party and decided to put someone to sleep for it, like decided to kill someone for it. She's great, she's really extra. So she's there, and she tells Riku that the only way to save Kairi is using the power of darkness. And because Riku just saw his best friend go off on an adventure,
He's angry.
He's angry. Yeah, he's really angry.
Riku's a bad one.
He totally believes him, and then he gets like a cool goth makeover.
It's like Edmund in the Lion, the Witch and Wardrobe.
Actually, exactly like that, but with no ghastly Turkish delight involved. I hate Turkish delight.
Impressed I made a fairly good.
That's good. Fair
Right,
enough,
let's get it because we're still in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, and we're going to be for a little while longer.
Oh no!
No, we're getting there.
It's quite simple, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
No.
yeah. So the Princesses of Heart have all been kidnapped.
Yes.
And you're
Princess.
chasing them through these various different worlds until you get to a place called Hollow Bastion, which, if you remember right,
Is inside the crab from Little Mermaid.
No. Which, if you remember, was a place. Well, I haven't said, but it was Radiant Garden where the
used to
Final
be
Fantasy.
Radiant Garden.
Right.
It used to be Radiant Garden
okay.
where the Final Fantasy characters hung out.
Right, okay.
It's been sort of twisted.
Because of the Heartless have taken it over.
Right, okay.
And just as you get there, Riku steals Sora's Keyblade because he's gone full evil, full
Yeah.
bad guy, and you meet Beast, who's chasing Belle, one of
Yeah.
the Princesses of Heart. And he helps you fight your way through the castle, and eventually you get to this point where you come to this big chamber, and all the Princesses of Heart. This is like my favorite part of the game,
Yeah.
like because you got to see all the Disney princesses, and they were all like locked in these like crystals, about to have their heart stolen. Because I forgot to mention the two people. So there's Ansem, remember Ansem?
Yeah, I remember Ansem.
He wants to open Kingdom Hearts by using their powers open.
Right, so here's the big question.
Yeah.
What's Kingdom Hearts?
So Kingdom Hearts was the original world. Where
Right.
the split because of the light and darkness,
okay,
but it's
right.
where all the light is.
Right,
And
So Kingdom
they
Hearts
wanted-
was where the crossblade was.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called?
Must be
X-Blade.
called. That's,
I
don't
yeah.
know.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway,
Let's
yeah,
call it
but I wasn't sure. Anyway,
I just got a glimpse of his notes there, and there's. I know it's meant to be an X, but looks like you've drawn a bum.
There's a bum like pulling
right,
itself
so
So anyway, yeah, the reason that all these Princess Hearts have been kidnapped
Yeah.
is because Ansem wants to use their hearts to unlock Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
Whereas the other guy, Xemnas, he just wants to kill a bunch of people and take their hearts.
Who's Zemnis?
Xemnas is the. Remember we talked about Xemnas earlier.
he's the nobody
nobody
of Ansem.
to.
Ah, right.
No, he's
that-
the nobody of Xehanort.
So nobody of Xehanort, yeah, okay, yeah. And Ansem's the Heartless of Xehanort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and possibly something like that.
I'm going to need an Excel spreadsheet.
When, some,
Right.
when somebody becomes a Heartless and nobody's made, isn't
Yeah,
aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
Right, okay.
So, which we're coming to. So you obviously come into this horror show of the Disney princesses all
Yeah.
trapped in these crystals.
Right.
And you see Kairi.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, Kairi, my friend I've been looking for all this time. And Riku turns up, like, and he's like, he's upgraded his badass level. And he's got a new Keyblade, which conveniently unlocks people's hearts. And because, remember I said earlier, Kairi's heart
It's
is in Sora.
She's got 2 hearts.
Yeah, so I think Sora still lost his Keyblade at this point, and Riku's being mean to him through this really long cutscene that you can't skip through before a really hard battle, which I had to watch like 20 times. And just as Riku's about to stab Sora, he gets his Keyblade back. That's really cool. And then they have this fight, and then you beat him, and Sora's like... Oh, and I forgot to mention, Riku's like full-on possessed by Ansem at this point.
Right, okay.
Aye.
So yeah,
And
like
Ansem's
it's...
bad.
Ansem's bad.
Yeah.
Write that down. Ansem equals bad.
Write that in your copybooks.
And so Sora, because of course, takes this Keyblade that can unlock people's hearts and stabs himself with it to unlock Kairi's heart. So Kairi wakes up just in time to see Sora become a Heartless.
Oh, right. That's
And so
bad.
what
that's
happens?
bad.
That's bad,
Yes.
yeah.
And so I guess I should say what happens at this point. When that happens, there's a nobody created of both Kairi and Sora. They'll come up a bit later. Roxas and Namine.
Roxas is Sora's nobody.
Yes, who looks amazingly like Ventus,
Yeah, he's
which
the
is
spitting image.
probably because Ventus's heart is in Sora's heart.
Sora's got like 3 hearts in him.
But also a
I
third.
want you all to notice, I'm not writing any of that down.
There's also a third person created at this point, who's like a result of how unique this situation is, and her name is Zion. She won't come up much.
Alright, that's fine. Are nobody's bad as well?
Not necessarily.
They just want to be loved.
They just yeah.
So
They're
nobody...
like me as a teenager.
So nobody...
Right,
So
wait.
no, wait there. Just so I can establish. Right, so I take out Joe's heart. Right.
Yep.
I rip it out.
Yep.
That creates Nobody Joe
Yep.
and Heartless Joe.
Yep.
Yep.
What happens to this version of Joe?
Well, he's split. He's
am
gone.
Heartless.
Oh, so you become 2. So your
See, my
heart comes
heart,
out.
I am Heartless.
So
Yeah.
you're Heartless Joe, and that creates a Nobody Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody Joe is...
Like Joe, but he doesn't have any feelings
No-
and just wants feelings
Right,
again.
so Nobody Joe is just regular Joe then.
Kind of.
Pardon me.
And
very mean.
Heartless Joe is also
Basically,
kind of like normal Joe.
No, Heartless Joe's more like a monster. Heartless are various types of monster.
Right, okay.
But not always, because
do they all
obviously you've
look
got Ansem.
alike? So
Some of them do.
Heartless Joe's me on Twitter.
Sora becomes like basic Heartless.
Right,
and anyway,
okay.
Kairi uses her new princess powers to awaken Sora again.
Yep.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the princesses are all freed by this point.
Okay.
And Maleficent's following behind, but you defeat her.
Right.
And you use the princesses all willingly give you their powers. Again, like super emotion for me. This is amazing. All these
Yeah.
princesses I love growing up are
Yeah.
super powerful and amazing. They use their powers to open Kingdom Hearts. And so Kingdom Hearts starts opening, but it's not light that's spilling out of it, it's darkness. Like, oh my god, darkness.
And then who shows up?
Who shows up? King Mickey and Riku, who's good again, has got a better outfit. And because they don't understand how doors work, they seal themselves inside it so that Sora can lock it.
Yeah.
And then what happens is everything starts to destabilize, and Kairi is there for some reason again, and they get separated. She ends up back on the island, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy end up walking through a countryside and end up at a place called Castle Oblivion, which is where Organization 13 hang out.
Right, okay.
Just nicely. And then you go through this whole thing, but Organization 13, they're there, and because they want Roxas and Sora together, and Namine's there, because she's super powerful, and she's basically writing herself into Sora's memories in place of Kairi as you walk through.
She's a bad one.
She's made to be a bad one.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's doing. She's only been around for like that plot point.
But then after that, this is the sort of coincides with the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, isn't it? Where you play as Roxas.
Yeah. So we're getting to that. So basically, it all ends with like Sora beating his way through Organization 13, and Riku doing the same sort of, because Riku's told that he'll always have a piece of Ansem heart with him, and he's got to destroy this guy Roxas to get his heart back or whatever. And Namine can help him.
Okay.
So you fight your way there, and then Namine agrees to help Sora by locking him in a big egg for a couple of years and rewrite his memories. Then we get to Roxas, who's been for 358 days, has been eating sea salt ice cream with his friends Axel and Zion, the creation of that moment.
Yep.
In Twilight Town.
Yeah. And then Riku turns up and messes it all up.
Yeah.
But Riku's also found out he can turn into an older version of Ansem, and like...
That's a confusing detail.
Yeah, but he just can because of the heart.
I do remember
What I'm enjoying is that's the one that you're like, that's a bit confusing.
And anyway, so he beats Roxas and takes him back to this other guy who's actually called Ansem the Wise, who is someone else, or is the original Ansem?
There's another Ansem.
There's another Ansem.
Yeah.
Who's like the real Ansem.
Right, okay, because when you said like, there's another guy's like, there's just two guys with the same name, he can't have that. This is too confusing to have two different people with the same
And so
name.
they plug Roxas in like Matrix style to the rebuilding of Sora's memories, sort of, I guess, into this fake version of Twilight Town, and during a fake summer holiday from fake school. And the Roxas and his fake friends go about doing weird fake part-time jobs, like street performer and pushing a car up a hill. And Vivi's there for some reason.
I mind doing that.
Vivi from Final Fantasy IX.
But then the more he finds his way to the castle.
The more he pokes holes in this like fake world.
Right.
The more it becomes unstable.
And is this Kingdom Hearts 2, by the way?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And he eventually meets Namine, and who's like, oh, we're both nobodies, we should hang out. And anyway, so basically Sora's memories are rewriting through this whole thing, and then Axel turns up, who was Roxas' friend for a while, and he's all like, well, he can't be heartbroken because he doesn't have a heart, because he's a nobody. But he's sad about it. He's sad that him and Roxas aren't friends because Roxas can't remember him. And so Roxas does the right thing and kills Axel.
Alright.
In cold blood. And then...
Axel dead?
Yeah, and then stuff happens, and then Sora gets his memory back and wakes up, realising he's hit puberty. He's like 2 years older and much taller.
Then he goes on a quest again.
And he goes on a big quest again. We're at Kingdom Hearts 2. And Maleficent is revived.
Alright.
Of course. Which is great because she's the best baddie in the whole thing. And you meet Yensid, who is Disney spelled backwards, but he's also the wizard from Fantasia. Remember the angry wizard from Fantasia?
Yeah, but he's also, is this also the Sid in...
No.
Was there a separate Sid?
No, Sid from Final Fantasy VII is the Sid in this one.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, and they give you a new outfit. Like, the fairies from Sleeping Beauty give you a new outfit.
Okay.
After doing the pink-blue thing for a little while, it's fun. And you set off on another adventure, back in your gummy ship made by Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. And you go through various Disney worlds while the Organization 13 try and hunt you down.
And they're...
Nobody's. They basically want to kill as many people as possible to open Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. And you fight your way through all these different worlds until you get to the final bit where Ansem, who was calling himself Diz for some reason, like the real Ansem.
Right,
Ansem the Wise, yeah, is there.
Voiced by Christopher Lee.
It's really fun.
Yeah. I think you'll be doing the voice in the new one.
Well, we did start making it 10 years ago, so you never know.
He is making a machine to turn Kingdom Hearts into data, to absorb the essence of Kingdom Hearts.
He's got like a big tube thing.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But it doesn't work. Or something.
Big tube.
And Riku and Kairi turn up, finally, together, and Sora finally sees them again, and he's like crying. Oh, I forgot to mention, Kairi's been kidnapped for like this whole game.
Yeah, again.
That's fine.
Yeah. And they're like, Sora's the only one crying, and it's really awkward. Yeah, and then you fight it, you destroy the machine, and Ansem is defeated. Yes, so Xemnas is defeated, and because you've already defeated Heartless Ansem, and now new Ansem, what it means is that Xehanort can form himself again. Oh my god!
Oh,
Gasp.
he's a big baddie.
Xehanort.
So that sets up Kingdom Hearts
3-ish. So we've forgotten about Aqua, who is in the realm of darkness.
Yeah.
She's
Aqua was dead.
No, Terra's dead.
Terra's dead.
Right,
sort of.
Right,
but she finds like a form of Terra in this realm of darkness.
Right, okay.
And she goes through this whole thing, and I can't really remember what happens because I played it when you guys gave it to me 2 years ago. So yes, she's in the realm of darkness, and it obviously leads up to the moment when Mickey and Riku seal themselves in to like close Kingdom Hearts. And she... I can't remember. Anyway, afterwards, Sora, Riku, and Kairi end up at Yen Sid's castle.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we can make you guys Keyblade wielder. Well, you guys are Keyblade wielders, so we're going to train you to become the Mark of Mastery thing. So Kairi goes off with Merlin, who you might remember, you know, Hockety Pockety Wockety Whack from Sword in the Stone, to learn how to be a Keyblade wielder. Okay. And Riku goes off and does his own thing, I can't remember. And Sora is overwhelmed by the whole thing, and he's losing his courage, and someone says to him, oh, but you remember that Hercules also lost his courage. He lost his godhood and came back as a god again. So he's like, I must go speak to Hercules.
Right.
But all the worlds are closed off, so you can't do that. But then Sora's also like Keyblade's king, so he finds out using his heart he can open it. So Sora, Donald, and Goofy jump in the gummy ship and head off to see Hercules, which is the start of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Ah, right, okay.
But we're not quite done yet.
Right, okay.
There's a secret thing going on where Namine, you remember Namine? Yeah. I forgot to mention, she fused with Kairi again. Left a note in Jiminy Cricket's journal to say something like,
don't trust Pikachu. Don't trust Pinocchio.
Yeah, don't
trust Pikachu. Jesus.
I can't remember what the note says, but the long and short of it, once it's all been boiled down, and this is through a weird long cutscene game, is that everybody that has connected to Sora's heart can be saved by Sora.
Right.
So King Mickey finds that out.
Okay,
and that's what brings us up to Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's what Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be about.
Okay.
Sora basically going on a mission to save everybody his heart's connected with. So that's Ventus, Vanitas, Terra, Aqua, Zion, who was in it for like 2 seconds, but she's like nice, I guess, and
Pikachu.
Roxas, Pikachu, Roxas, Namine, Crazy Frog, Blitzen, and that brings us up to the start of Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's not so bad, is it? Right. So the ultimate test now is
right.
Scott,
Andy, get a timer up on your phone.
Oh gosh,
let's get a timer up. 60 seconds.
Yeah. So
1 second.
Scott's been taking notes, and Scott, you're the Kingdom Hearts virgin of the three of us. So, how much have you taken in
Okay.
Relay is the plot of Kingdom
Right,
Hearts in
now-
1 minute, starting.
Right, I'm not going to say what happens in what game because I think that wasn't.
Right, yeah.
Okay, starting now.
Okay, so chronologically, there was one world, Kingdom Hearts, and there was one blade
1 minute. So.
called the Crossblade.
Yeah.
That was split in two by question mark. Xenort, who has no heart, wants to make a big light and a big. He wants to turn the big light on. He also wants to turn it off. So to recreate the Keyblade, so he creates Ventus and Venatus because he cut his pal in half. That created a bunch of folk. Ventus is pure light, but they bam him up, so he gets annoyed. He hangs out with Terra and Aqua. Aqua has blue hair. Terra has dark hair. Disney World was Markham Astray, iPhone Keyblade. Xenort fuses with Terra and gets white hair.
Yeah.
They go to Radiant Garden. Ventus becomes a castle. Then Kingdom Hearts 1 begins. You start on an island. You choose some swords. You meet some Heartless. Organisation 13. You go to Destiny Island and you have a race. You get woken up because Pluto licks you in the face.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Wait there. Keep going. This is
Keep
fun.
going. Yeah.
Pluto licks you in the face and you wake up. You decide Donald and Goofy are looking for King Mickey to restore connections between King Mickey's fucked off, but he's still getting funded by the taxpayer.
Right.
You're going to restore connections between the worlds. Chip and Dale make a ship out of sweets. You go to see Hercules and Tarzan. Then you meet Beast. You find out all the princesses are in a big chamber, and they're trying to open up the OG world, Kingdom Hearts. Ansem equals bad. King Mickey turns up and shuts that door. Namine's a baddie, and she's trying to replace Kairi in Sora's memory. So they put Sora in a big egg to make him better. Axel dies later on, but he's not dead at this point. They go to a fake Twilight Town. They do stuff during the fake school holidays. Christopher Lee's in it. At the end, there's a note in Jiminy Cricket's personal diary that apparently keeps saying that everyone that Sora's winched can be brought back to life.
That sounds about right.
That's everything I struggled to work the last half hour bang on.
Right.
So, do you think Scott's ready for Kingdom Hearts 3 then?
Yes, as ready as anyone could be.
Well, ain't nobody gonna stop me. And you'd be heartless to disagree. Also, Xenort.
Keep bit socketing.
Keep it socking.